So when it comes to confidence with women, it's not something that you can fake. It's not something that you can learn. You can't watch a video about how to walk confident and how to talk confident and then suddenly go out and you're this confident guy. You can't fake it, because women especially, they can see right through it. Now, obviously it is possible to fake confidence. A lot of people do that. To meet a girl in a bar, for instance, or you could fake being confident on a job interview and manage to land yourself the job, because you can manage to do that for maybe, half an hour or an hour, and you might be able to pull the act off temporarily. But once you start meeting her, she's going to see through the act in no time. She's going to be able to see that you're faking it and that you're not really the guy that you're portraying yourself to be. And that's where it goes wrong for a lot of people, because they put a bit of an act on to meet a girl. But then obviously, over time, if you start seeing each other, you can't keep it up. She's going to see the real you at some point. You can't just put an act on indefinitely. So the mask will slip, and that's when she's going to feel deceived at that point, because the person that she thought you were, she's now seeing that that's not who you actually are. So the only way that you can actually improve your confidence is by actually doing things in real life that build a genuine feeling within you of being confident, where you don't have to read a book about it, you don't have to get any tuition about how to act like this or walk like this and talk like that. You don't need to do any of that. You need to be confident in who you actually are as a person. The individual person that you are, that's who you need to be confident about being, not trying to act like someone else, because girls have got a radar for that kind of thing. And this is half of the reason why they do all these little tests and things to see your true character, because they're well aware that guys will put an act on, and that's why they do all these little tests, all these little psychological games, trying to see who the real guy is. And that's, it all plays into things like when they go quiet all of a sudden, just to see how you're going to react. A lot of girls will do this. After the first couple of weeks, she's going to pull back a bit just to see how you respond to that. And this is where a lot of people mess it up, by chasing after her and asking her what's wrong and this and that. And, all of a sudden you're showing your true colours, that if you've been acting confident and putting that sort of persona on, now all of a sudden, because she hasn't spoke to you for a couple of days, asking her what's wrong and wondering why she hasn't spoke to you and whatever, that's the kind of thing that they do just to sort of see what you're actually made of. When a girl suddenly goes quiet, you might have only seen each other a handful of times, and then suddenly she's pulling back for no apparent reason. Very often there's nothing wrong at all. It's just like a natural type of thing that girls will do just to test how solid you are as a man. And, if you're going to suddenly be knocked off balance by the fact that she hasn't spoke to you for a couple of days, because obviously that shows a girl like a certain level of insecurity and weakness in you if you can't handle a couple of days without speaking to her. When you've only just met each other, there's nothing serious at that point. There's no commitment or expectations or anything. So you've got to control yourself, because real confidence isn't easily shaken. You're not going to be knocked off balance if a girl doesn't ring you for a couple of days. You're not going to be that bothered if she never even speaks to you again. That's the kind of attitude that you need to be like showing her, that you're not invested in the situation at that particular point. When things are only just getting going, if you're already fully sold on this girl, that's like a big red flag for her. It doesn't look good when you're investing yourself in a situation with a girl too early. especially nowadays, because girls generally have got that many options with all the stuff online, with social media things and dating apps, inundated with attention from fellas 24 hours a day, from the minute they get up to the minute they go to bed of a night. The chances are, when you first meet this girl, she's probably still got all these options that she's sort of juggling, even if she's not letting you see any of this when you're with her. She's probably still talking to at least a handful of guys online that she knows all want to go on a date, whatever. So in her mind, she's got pretty much unlimited options. So sometimes, if it's just at the beginning of starting seeing each other and she's gone a bit quiet, it could just be because she's been talking to other people. You know, you've got to keep this in mind and not allow yourself to start getting ahead of yourself with it and starting to think how lovely she is and this and that. You can't allow yourself to start looking at it as if it's more than what it is, because she'll pick up on that, and it all sort of shows a lack of confidence, because a confident man is the same as a confident girl, where, she's got lists of options, all different fellas contacting her all the time, trying to arrange things with her and this and that. And if you're a confident man, then you'll have pretty much unlimited options as well. You've got to remember, even if you connect with this girl and it's been boss between you, you still don't know each other at that stage. You don't know her and she doesn't know you. If you've only been seeing each other even for a few weeks or even a couple of months, you're still at that beginning stage where anything could really happen. You don't know what's going to be revealed about her true character and her personality. What kind of morals, principles does she operate by? Is she honest? Is she trustworthy? Is she loyal? There's no way you can know all that over the first few weeks or even the first few months of knowing a girl. It takes a long time for these things to come out, because it's only real life situations that actually bring out whether somebody's honest, loyal and trustworthy. So you've got to hold on and just control yourself in those early stages while you're still vetting her and actually checking her out and discovering all the different sides of her personality. Over the first few weeks, even few months, you're only seeing the best of her, and it takes a while before you're going to see what she like on a bad day, what she like when she's in a bad mood, what she like when you have a disagreement. All these things take time, and she knows this. So if she sees you getting too invested in it all too soon, she's wondering what's wrong with you, and it puts them right off. Now, when it comes to confidence and building real confidence, the only way you can do that is by actually testing yourself in real life, with real life situations, real things where there's a chance that you may fail, you may lose. That's where you learn a lot of lessons, when you fail at something, because you can see what went wrong and why it went wrong, and then you can come back with a new idea based on the knowledge that you've now got on how it doesn't work. How it failed can actually give you the answers as to how it can succeed. When you live like that and you take a chance and you take a risk and you're not afraid of that particular thing failing, because you know that if it does, then you can just use that information for your next move. Now, when you consistently test yourself like that and you start having a few wins, it's like a numbers game. Some things are going to work out, some things aren't. But obviously, the more things that you try and fail, the closer you're getting to the thing that's going to win. So when you're testing yourself consistently, then that builds confidence in you in a general sense, where, just like if somebody's got issues with anxiety, for instance, then whatever the thing is that's making them anxious, that feeling of anxiety that they get, it then sort of carries over into other things in life, maybe things that they wouldn't even normally be anxious about. And it's just the same with confidence. When you build confidence in yourself in one area of your life, that will carry over into all other areas of your life, because you'll just have this general sense of confidence about you. So testing yourself and learning that you can win. It is possible to win and be successful. And it's also possible to fail and not let that destroy you. In fact, it actually builds you, because of the knowledge that you acquire from the failure. The thing that went wrong teaches you a lot. So going through these processes is what actually builds real confidence in you, when you feel like whether you win, lose or draw, it just doesn't really matter, because you're just going to carry on anyway, and you're just going to keep trying, and there'll be a win coming up sometime soon, because you know that when you keep trying and keep putting your effort into the right things, eventually something works, something goes right. And it's the same when you're meeting girls. Not every girl that you meet has to turn into a relationship. A lot of girls that you meet, they're not going to be right for you for one reason or another, and that's fine. You can enjoy just meeting them, going out on dates, going on days out, nights out, getting to know each other. Just enjoy the process a step at a time. You've got to be in that frame of mind with a girl where you're just taking things literally a date at a time. So anytime you meet her really could be the last time that you see her. You never know with a girl. So especially in those early stages, you've just got to look at things as it's just a day at a time. Enjoy the dates that you're going on. Enjoy the experience that you're getting while you're seeing each other and having a nice time, having fun together, and just make the most of the time and enjoy it. And when she sees that you're in that kind of frame of mind where you're not sort of future planning things, you're not trying to like make this into some serious relationship, and you're just taking it as it comes, seeing how things unfold. Girls love that kind of energy, because it doesn't put any pressure on them. It just lets them be able to sort of take their time and realise what they're feeling and how they're feeling about you. And that is how girls like it. They don't like it when they meet a lad who's barely even got to know them and he's already like head over heels about them. You know, they can see it. She can see that you're getting invested and you're getting deeply drawn into it all. And it makes them back off straight away. A lot of fellas seem to think that they need to make this girl understand like they're serious about it, and they're not just messing her around, and they're looking for something serious. They're not just looking a casual relationship and all this. And when you start talking like that to a girl who you've only just met, you're just putting the nails in the coffin. And you'll notice that anytime you do that, it doesn't have the effect that you think it's going to. You think you're like reassuring her that you're this like good guy that's not just out to bang her and then disappear. And she just doesn't need to know any of that. A bit of mystery keeps girls engaged when they're not quite sure whether you are in it for the long term or is it just a short term fling for you. This is what gets her thinking and gets you on her mind more, and that's a good thing. She's the one who's going to be asking you what's going on with you. You know, what, are we a thing, or is this just like a casual thing, or what? That's exactly the way you want it, where she's the one questioning, is it something serious and this and that? You know, it's never needs to come from the man. The talk of like, what are we and all that, that's got to come from her. Your confidence, you know, it comes from all different parts of your life. Like if you're involved in some sort of social activity, like some sort of sports, whatever it might be, and you get really good at it within that sort of circle, You're respected for being good at the thing that you do. You've built your skills to a level where like you know what you're doing and you're confident in that particular thing. That will build just a general sense of confidence within you, and all this will help you when you're on dates with girls, when you've got stuff going on in your life that charges you up, excites you and drives you. That comes across in your attitude, in your whole personality, and you won't have to think about trying to walk like you're confident or talk like you're confident, because you just naturally will do. You don't have to put a voice on. You know, you hear these people online saying you need to talk like in a deep voice and you need to walk like this and stand like this, and it's all nonsense. Confidence comes from within you, and it's being confident in who you are that matters. So if you're 5.5 foot tall and you've got a little squeaky voice, then you need to become confident in that, and you'll find a girl that you click with that likes you for that, because you're confident in yourself. You know, there's all different types of people. If you look at all the people you know in relationships, all the fellas aren't carbon copies of each other. They're not all like acting the same as each other and talking in the same tone of voice as each other. Everyone's different. Everyone's got their own voice. Everyone's got their own look, their own height. You can't change these things. And it's when you try to change those things that it comes across wrong, because you're not going to be fluent when you're talking. You know, if you're talking to a girl face to face, it's just you and her. Now, if you're having to try and check yourself before you speak to make sure you're saying the exact right thing that this guy on YouTube told you to say, and you need to say this line at this point and say something cheeky to her within every 10 minutes, or, you know, then you've got to flirt with her every 7.5 minutes. It's nonsense. Things just need to flow. And that happens when you build your confidence, where you'll just naturally just flow in the conversation. You can't predict what she's going to be talking about and the way the conversation's going to just naturally unfold. It's all about being spontaneous and living in the moment. So be observant about what's going on around you, where you are, the place that you're in, the decor, you know, the stuff on the menu, the cocktails that they make at the bar. Just keep things quite basic. And obviously, when it's a girl that you like, you don't have to start rehearsing lines about how to flirt with her. Things will be that way between you, especially if she likes you the same. You know, if you both like each other, there's going to be flirtation going on backwards and forwards between you that just happens naturally. You don't have to plan it. You don't have to rehearse it. And in fact, that's the worst thing that you can do, because again, when you're face to face with a girl, just you and her, if you're trying to like restrain yourself and stick to these scripts that you've learned online, she's going to see that there's just something off about the way you're communicating, because you're not just flowing naturally. Think about the way you talk to your friends and your family. And you just talk. You don't rehearse what you're going to say. You're not going online looking for like ideas for conversations. You're just chilling. You're just being yourself. And that's exactly how you've got to be when you're talking with girls. You can't try to be this like different dude, or trying to act cool or stoic. It will not work in reality. The only thing that works is becoming confident in who you are, the individual person that you are. And then when you go on a date, your confidence will do the work for you, because you're not going to be nervous. You're not going to have any kind of anxieties or worrying about what to say or whatever, because your confidence overrides any of that. And you'll be quite happy to just let yourself be free and let her see who you are. And if she likes you, she likes you. If she doesn't, she doesn't. Some girls are going to like you, some girls aren't. So obviously, the ones who don't like you, don't waste your time with them. Just leave it at that and move on and find one that likes you. You know, it's as simple as that, really. Again, it comes down to confidence, where you know if this particular one, you don't click with her for whatever reason, it's not the end of the world. You were just going on a date with her to see what she's like. And if you don't click, then there's no point going on another date with her. There's no point thinking about her. Just write that one off and concentrate on meeting the next one. There's girls everywhere. Once you've built your confidence internally, just stopping and saying hello to a girl, it couldn't be any easier. You know, if you think about it, it's nothing to just talk to someone, to just say hello to them. Stuff just comes naturally to you once you start talking. You know, you can't plan these things. You've just got to be able to be in the moment, and your confidence in yourself will just take over, and you'll just naturally go with the flow once you approach a girl. You know, it's nice to talk to them. It's nothing to be frightened of or anxious about. You'll enjoy it. It's one of the best ways to meet girls. It's enjoyable to stop and have a chat with a nice girl. Sometimes you'll approach a girl and she's just had a big argument with a boyfriend or a husband, or, you know, she might have just got the sack from work, or there could be anything that's happened to her that's put her in a mood and she just doesn't even want to speak to you, so just walks off without saying anything. And you've just got to laugh at these things. And, you know, again, it's like a numbers game. The more that you approach, the closer you get to the one who's going to respond positively to you. And then the rest's easy then. You know, if you're getting that kind of vibe from a girl, she's not going to make it difficult for you to meet her. She's going to be wanting to see more of you as well. And she's going to be made up with the fact that you've gone over and spoke to her. Because so many fellas get in their own head about it and don't even bother trying. So even like 10 out of 10 stunners, you might think like, oh, she must be getting approached all the time. Look at her, you know, she's gorgeous, looks like a model. But believe it or not, those type of girls are the ones who get the least amount of real life attention, because most fellas just think she's out of their league, so they don't even bother trying. When, you know, if you're the one who actually steps forward and tries, you might be the only person who's asked her out on a date, like face to face like that, for the past 5 years, you know, and you've just made her day. And then if she likes the look of you as well, you get a number, and then you're on a date with her a couple of days later. And, you know, it's again, once you start trying these things and having a bit of success, showing yourself that it's more than possible for you. It's a big, big thing for girls when they see a lack of confidence. It's very off-putting for them. When they see that you've got a lot of genuine self-confidence, it's a real big plus for you. They can see it, they can feel it in the whole vibe that you're giving off. They can feel that kind of confidence coming from you, and they love it.